Good morning, everybody. It's Dr. Antonio with the weekly live talk. Different topic each week for the most part. And in this short snippet today, we're going to talk about the general goal of health and success. So, the general statement is if you're feeling healthy in your body and feeling healthy in your mind, then you are having success. And it's a small and yet big accomplishment to acknowledge for yourself because when you have health, health is wealth, and we've heard this before. Good morning. We've heard this before, where health is wealth, and we see a lot of these statements around in our culture. And so, understanding that, what does that actually mean? It means that when you're feeling good in your body, when your mind is in accordance with the body, and when your body is in accordance, in general, as an alignment with mind body, the mind body spirit connection, we hear that often. We understand that we're feeling good. And so if we're feeling good in our being, that means we're able to participate in the world in a more wholesome way. And one of the primary goals of Ayurveda, it's called the Purusharthas, which are the four primary objectives or reasons for being human, being in existence. The purpose of Ayurveda is to support these four goals, which is Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. And so understanding Dharma is basically, what is our purpose? What is our reason for being alive? And that's huge. It's actually being challenged greatly during these times of pandemic, where people don't know what's happening, and people don't know where they're at and where they're going to end up and what's happening with their own life and their well-being, and a lot of people being forced to do things that they weren't normally doing before to thrive and survive. And so knowing purpose is really important for the essence of who we are and where our state of mind is. Because, we're human and we're in this body. And I remember talking to one of my patients, actually a few of my patients that have come in with suicide histories or suicidal attempts or suicidal ideation. And, they questioned their existence and didn't know why they were here. And, my simple reply from the Ayurvedic perspective was, everything, for the most part, exists as reality. So what is real is what's actually happening right now. So for that person to question their own existence in their life and whether they should stay alive or die, it means that they had purpose, because there was no coincidence that they were in their body, that there was a purpose. And whether they knew it in the constructs of their mind or not didn't necessarily matter so much, except for the real reality, for the acceptance of, you must have a purpose if you're in a body, and you're meant to experience this world, this life, this existence through that vehicle, through this vehicle. And so at least accepting that part of reality, that there's no coincidence that you're in a body. And Ayurveda gives us amazing tools, many scientific applications to support our health and well-being and how to thrive more fully and in a wholesome way as much as possible, so that we can go to the next step, which is understanding how, the material gains that we can experience in life. And because if we're feeling good and we're sort of on our path in our life and our journey and experiencing the purpose or exploring our purpose, and I don't think there's necessarily just one purpose. I mean, if there's a soul in a body, there's a purpose for that at the most fundamental level. And yet at the same time, we can have many levels of life, because life is very expansive that way. And we don't just stop, because we are ever-growing beings into our bigness of life. And so if we're feeling good and healthy and wholesome, and we're on our path and journey, and we're gaining things, material things, whatever that might be, money or house or friendships or relationships, whatever, these are all kind of things in this world that we get to explore as humans, and then we get to enjoy, which is the next level, which is the understanding that, are we enjoying these things? Are we really enjoying and feeling this sense of alignment? Because if we are, and then that brings us to the final, which is the moksha piece, which is liberation, as translated in Sanskrit, in yoga and Ayurveda. And in the yogic philosophies, the liberation is freedom from the body, freedom from the confinements of the ego. It's an enlightenment state, all these things. That's all great. And yet while you're still in a body, it's a matter of integrating the spiritual experience into the human form, because it's simultaneous, it's happening. We cannot discard the body while we are in it. It is our responsibility to take care of it. It is our responsibility to adhere to things that are going to support our overall well-being. So that when we have a sense of fluidity, when we have a sense of ease and movement in the body, in the joints, in the digestive system, in our sleep, in our energy, in our inspiration, in our ability to really interact with life as part of life, then there's a fluidity, there's a freedom in that. And we're not so attached to all the material things and the necessities that we think are going to define our happiness. They're a byproduct of an essential alignment that happens because we're feeling good in our being. And Ayurveda, what it has to offer is so many different things to support this, as far as Ayurvedic psychology, as far as Ayurvedic therapies, as far as Ayurvedic diet, as far as Ayurvedic lifestyle recommendations, like all these things. There's so many components that make us up as a whole being. That's why it's a holistic approach. And Ayurveda will look at every single angle of your body to see what's happening from its symptoms or lack of symptoms. It's going to understand what's happening within your mind and put things in place as much as possible, gather the resources and implement such things and test these out to make sure these are the right things for you. So it's a very individualized approach as well. It's not a one-size-fits-all system. The scientific system that's been established for thousands of years. And there are many medical texts of Ayurveda to support this. And this is where the Ayurvedic doctors from India that are pioneers in moving Ayurveda on a bigger scale on the planet across the globe serve a purpose, so that those of us that are Westerners and we're studying Ayurveda and we're really connected with it, because it's not just the idea that it's coming from India and it's an Indian-based philosophy. It's a conscious-based philosophy that can be very universally applied to every single culture on the planet. It's just a matter of using these scientific principles accordingly in that geographic location, because, the simplicity of it is, when we discovered the idea or the theory of gravity, we proved that there is gravity, and it hasn't been disproven since. That's the way science progresses, and something is proven until it's disproven, and it remains constant until some other truth reveals itself or brings us to a different level of depth. And so universally, we know gravity exists everywhere on the planet, and therefore we also know in Ayurveda and these holistic systems, like Chinese medicine, that the elements play a role in the integration of our well-being. And so understanding these principles and the application of where we are geographically, climate-wise, season-wise, direction-wise, all these things apply to our health and our state of being. And so coming back to the basic fundamental truth that Ayurveda is here to support the long-term benefits of our humanity, our bodies, our health, our well-being, all of these things is an important consideration. So this is today's food for thought. And if you have any questions, feel free to private message me. I know this is a short and sweet talk today. I will be back next week to talk more about this and other things as usual. I also do my weekly yoga classes on Tuesdays and Friday mornings at 8 a.m. And stay tuned. And I'm also doing an Ayurvedic cooking class on November 7th. That's Saturday from 10 to 1. So if you'd like to join me, it's Eastern time. By all means, feel free to private message me. It's going to be amazing. Via Zoom, of course, and 5 recipes, and we'll explore cooking together, Ayurvedic scientific principles around cooking, seasonal cooking, cooking for your type, your digestive system, all these great things. So I look forward to hearing from you. I'll provide the links in the comment section. Again, this is Dr. Antonio from Still Point Ayurveda in Philadelphia. Have a great day, everyone. Good to see you all.